Joan, the place for all the fun.
Hi, hello, I'm Joan from Reading with Joan. Welcome to my channel. Kindly remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel today. We love reading with you and interacting with our kids. On our Wednesday time, we read, and on Saturday, we talk and we just talk about morals, talk about things that are related to our culture because we want kids to be culturally aware. We want kids to grow up to be very responsible and independent individuals. I hope you will join us Wednesday and Saturday. Remember, like, comment, and share our channel with your friends and family. We hope you enjoy reading with us today.
Reading with Joan, the place for all the fun.
Hello, kids. We are still reading Wisdom Tales from around the world. Wisdom Tales from around the world. Am I singing today? We are still reading the tales from Japan. Today, the title is The Dispute in Sign Language. The Zen master and his one-eyed student lived together in a monastery. One day, a wandering monk came to the Zen master and said, "If you would accept me, I wish to study with you." The old monk replied, "Decide first if you belong here. Go into the garden and speak to my student. Converse with him in any way you wish. After that, come and tell me your decision." The visiting monk nervously went into the garden and saw the one-eyed monk meditating. "I will show him how profound I can be," thought the visitor. "I will converse with him in sign language." Approaching quietly, the visiting monk tapped the one-eyed monk on the shoulder and held out one finger. The one-eyed monk held out two fingers, and in response, the visiting monk held three fingers. The one-eyed monk held out his fist, and the visiting monk saw this. He dashed out of the garden to tell the old monk his decision. He came upon the old monk at his chair and gasped, "I do not deserve to stay here. I am unworthy of being a fellow student with an enlightened monk I met in the garden." The old monk paused at his work and said incredulously, "Are you speaking of a young one-eyed monk in the garden?" "Yes," exclaimed the visitor. "His knowledge is far superior to mine. I will humbly leave. Please tell me what happened in the garden," said the old monk, widening with amazement. Oh, the visitor explained. "I approached the vulnerable monk and decided to converse in sign language. I held up one finger to indicate Buddha, whereupon he held up two fingers to indicate Buddha and his teaching, the Dalai. I persevered in the discussion. However, I held three fingers to indicate Buddha, Dharma, and Shanghai, the community. Then he revealed the limitations of my understanding. He held up his fist to show me that they are all one. I immediately ran here to tell you I must leave." With a sign, he turned and left the temple. A moment later, the young one-eyed monk stumbled into the temple. He grumbled and shouted, "Where is that scoundrel? He dare insult me." "Calm your temper," said the old monk. "Please tell me what happened in the garden." The young monk explained. "I was peacefully meditating when a rude visitor interrupted my concentration. When I looked up to him, he held up one finger, indicating that I have only one eye. I held up two fingers, politely congratulating him that he has two eyes. Then he insulted me further. He held out three fingers, pointing out that there were only three eyes among us. I could bear it no longer. I raised my fist to punch his nose and he ran away." Kids, are you going to have a chill laugh with me? This story, last time I think we read the stories about assumption. Today is another beautiful story about assumption, coupled with communication. Now, there is a dispute based on the communication. What the young monk understood is different from what the visitor understood is sign language to mean. So the sign language of the visitor was interpreted differently from the sign language of the young monk. What causes quarrel among us children? Is it not because we don't understand the language both of us are speaking? We communicate, making assumption that the other party understands what we are saying. And the other party communicates, thinking that we understand what the other party is saying. Can we not just communicate with understanding? I wish the visitor did not go and try to distinguish himself by speaking in sign language. He actually destroyed his whole communication and his opportunity to learn from the wise master because he could not understand the act of communication. Communication is very important in the home, in school, at work, and everywhere we are. Kids, try to understand what your brothers and sisters are saying, what your parents are saying before you jump into conclusion and raise a fist like the young monk to defend yourself. It is very important that if you don't understand something, ask questions. Ask for the questions. Ask for the questions. Don't make an assumption and don't conclude on another person's behavior or actions based on your own assumptions. Because relationships and lives are destroyed because of assumptions and lack of communication. Very good lessons. I'll see you next time.
Hello, today we are reading Chapter 9, Complications. Jonah, the game scout, came to the door of his house. 3 bedraggled figures came towards him. You look as though you espouse a night of small comfort. Baruti whistled quietly. You speak words that make me feel I am again trying to sleep on a hard rock in the middle of that swamp in cold darkness. Jonah chuckled. While we wait for food, tell me what brings you here at this hour, looking as you do. Baruti sighed. It started this time yesterday. We went very early to the cooking pot of ghosts, which goes down deep into the ground. It is rock. The rim is the height of 3 men, and there is only one place to climb it from the water. We are interested to find there a garden of Indian hemp. Jonah nodded. It is the work of Nongo. Exactly, agreed Baruti. But we walked our feet full of caution to a hole near the lower part of the pot. It looks like the open mouth of a snake. Some say it is bottomless, broke in Jonah. We took no chances, laughed Baruti, for we threw in pebbles to see how deep it was. They rattled like beans into a... we heard voices full of anger. Those of Nungo had come seeking us, but we hid in this cave of darkness. Above us we heard loud voices, but these were drowned by a deep booming sound that came from the long crack in the stone floor. Jonah chuckled. Truly, that pot has a stomach that gives it no joy. Baruti nodded. No, Tembo and I felt fear creeping under our skin. By those who had found us had the kind of fear that sent them to the top of the pot with speed. But for safety, we waited until dark. And what then? Asked Jonah. Noah shuddered as he remembered. We crawled through thorns and over sharp pebbles. We jumped into dark waters and swam with the fear of the nearness of crocodiles. We waded in the darkness through mud and slime and spent the night on a cold rock. Ugh! Shuddered Jonah. Mocked by frogs and cricket while you provided a feast for mosquitoes. That has happened before to others. But come, we must listen to the order of that man of action, Kolongo. He switched on the radio. An authoritative voice spoke Swahili. Calling game South Yona Nuti. It is the 2nd hour, 8 a.m. Are you receiving me? Over. Receiving you loud and clear, Buana Kolongo. Over. I am arriving at 10 a.m. Expecting report from Baruti. We are looking for action. Over and out. The jail clock showed 8 a.m. The door opened and out sat two men. One looked disgruntled, and the other was plump and smiling. He rubbed his hands together and slapped his companion on the shoulder. $1. What we need is money. Lots of it. But how? Rasped Zola. Leave this to Winston Church Lugu, chuckled the plump man, adjusting his neat green hat. Money grows for those who know where to look for it. He shaded his eyes against the morning sun. A lorry was lumbering towards them. He raised his hat, pointed his thumb in the direction that the lorry was traveling, and smiled. The officials shot past them. They were engulfed in red suffocating dust. "Kah!" snarled Dorla. "He takes no notice. Peace!" retorted his companion. "Look, even now he pulls up. Leave the talking to me." She walked towards the lorry and greeted the Arab driver courteously in Swahili. "Good day to you. My name is Winston Churchill Lugu. I'm a businessman. Could you give us a lift towards Nungo?" "Have you 2 shillings each?" queried the driver. "Aha!" laughed Lugu. "I have better than." On the far side of the lorry, Dola swung himself up and had the door open in a trice. The lorry driver grabbed a tire lever and waved it threateningly. "No one cheats Hamid bin Aziz. I want my money now or out you get." "Peace," said Lugu. "Hamid, what are 4 miserable shillings? He can show you how to make hundreds and hundreds of them." The driver looked at him quickly. Lugu's laughter came reassuringly. "It sounds good, doesn't it? Lots of lovely money. Think of it. Think of what you can do with it. We have some special things to sell to those who have a desire for them." The driver put down his tire lever. "Well, get in." Luca did so briskly. Then the Arab started the engine and growled, "Where is all this money that you talk about?" The plump man raised his eyebrows. "My wealth is here." He tapped his head. "You have a need, and you have the answer." The driver spat, and they hurtled forward. There was a long silence. Bella started to speak, but Lugu's elbow hit him hard in the ribs. They were going down a steep hill above the swamp tree. Above, ahead was a hairpin bend in the road. The Arab clamped on his brakes. Nothing happened. Blocking half the road was a large notice. "Hatari! Danger!" The lorry crashed into it, skidded, swung across into the jungle, toppled sideways, and stopped with a jerk, propped up like a large cactus. Hamid's door burst open. He shot out, cracking his head heavily on it. In a second, Lugu was bending over him. He pulled off the Arab's coat, folded it and placed it under his head, and fanned him with his hat. After some minutes, Arab's eyes flickered, and he sat up looking bewildered. "You see what I mean," chuckled Lugu. "We bring you good luck. I have a charm that never fails." "Agreed. A bang on the head is never welcome, but there is no real damage done to you or the machine." "My companion, Dola, has hit his head against me. This will not improve his outlook on life. But never mind. I see you have a strong winch. Let us use it and get back onto the road." They spent the next half hour easing the lorry back onto the road. Lugu carefully wiped his hand on a snow-white handkerchief which had once been the property of the governor of the jail. Dola came across and muttered to him. Lugu nodded, and they climbed back into the lorry and moved at much slower speed. When they arrived, he said, "Oh, Hamid, my friend, and I have saved you very considerable expense. We ask no payment and will give you none." They drove along in hostile silence. Coming to a side road, Lugu ordered, "Stop!" The Arab muttered and put on his brakes. Lugu and Dola jumped down and walked off without a word. The driver rubbed his head, shouted unmentionable things in Arabic, and drove off. "Cool!" mumbled Dola. "Here we are with no money and nowhere to go. Nothing. A lot of use that is to an empty stomach and an empty pocket." "Peace!" smiled Lugu. "Take heart." They stepped off the road as another lorry rattled past towards Lungo. Dola cursed the dust, but Lugu looked with interest at the mentor. Ram Singh, builder and contractor. What would he be doing at a place like Lungo? Dola made no reply to his queries, but had much to say regarding headaches, heat, and flies. They came to a large fig tree. Lugu sat down on one of the roots. "Let us rest for a while," he said, and as Dola threw himself down muttering, Lugu continued, "Things are not as bad as you had thought. When our friend lay unconscious, I had found some small profit in his pocket." Her mouth was full of words of misery, but Lugu was usual on the job. He produced 5 10-shilling notes. Dola snatched at them, but he was far too slow. "I left another 5 when he fell. Before long, when the fog goes from his brain, he will return, and there will be his money. He will blame the wind for what he cannot find, not us." "Ka!" I wish Dola spat viciously. "Waste of money you are!" "Play safely," purred Lugu. "Always play safely." He proceeded to do so. Beyond those mango trees is a house where there are food and friendship. They went to a house built on the edge of the swamp. "Leta Pombe! Bring beer!" shouted Dola. At once he started to drink to celebrate his release from jail, while Lugu asked a string of questions which concerned Yakubu's activities, marijuana, ivory, and rider horse. By midday, Dola was asleep, but Lugu was carefully observing Yakubu's house. He watched with interest as person after person came for injections. Thank you for joining us today on Jungle Doctor in Slippery Places. We hope you'll join us next time to read the rest of the chapters. Bye!
And be friends with one another, so reading with Joan, the place for all the fun. Creative.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope to see you next time on another story time with Joan. Reading with Joan. Bye.